Hi, this is Logan Street with DealerSocket. Today I'm going to speak to you about the DealerSocket mobile driver's license scanner that's available in the DealerSocket mobile app. So, one of the biggest questions that I get when I bring up usage of the mobile driver's license scanner, and I'll find that some dealerships use it on every single deal. Some dealerships use it sparingly, and then some dealerships don't have it, but they don't even use it at all. And the number one question that I get from kind of the latter of those two is why? Okay. It's easier for me to just make a copy of the driver's license and then go on my test drive, right? Or I'm going to have to make a copy of the driver's license anyways for the deal jacket, so on and so forth. Now, for the latter of those two, sorry, went to my save screen there. For the latter of those two, um, in the event that we sell the car, yeah, the copy of that driver's license is going to end up in the deal jacket, and then it's going to be, temporarily in a finance office where if no one's in there, it should be locked. And then once it gets to the accounting office, it's secure there. And then once it gets, beyond that for, record keeping, it's either, made a digital copy is either made or it's stored and it's in a secure location. But what about all those driver's licenses that were scanned for customers that didn't buy that day, right? That just went on test drives. Um, I've gone into dealerships and just seen stacks of driver's licenses sitting out in the open, um, whether that be in a public area or even in a sales tower. But who's to say that that sales tower doesn't get locked when somebody steps out and there's no one in there? That at that point, that's unsecure. If an inspector came into your dealership and saw that, you could be fined upwards of, I believe it's $10,000 per violation, meaning if you had 12 driver's license sitting there, that's $120,000 fine upwards, could be. So with this in mind, and then the tightening of FTC standards with GLBA, I just wanted to throw this video together to kind of show why the driver's license scanner needs to be used, how to use it, and also kind of how to get around some of the objections that you'll see. So first off, I'm going to show you how to add a driver's license scan using the QuickUp. Also, how to add a driver's license to an existing contact. And then for the managers, I'm going to show you how to ensure that a driver's license is on a record. Okay. And then how to print it out from DealerSocket if we need to print it out later for a car deal. So first, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit this QuickUp button on my mobile app. And then once I click that button, you'll notice in the upper right-hand side of the screen under Save and Company, there's a little icon that looks like a credit card, like it's got the bar going across the back right here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to tap that credit card or that icon, sorry. And then once we tap that, every driver's license on the back of the driver's license has a QR code that looks like this. And once I scan that, what it's doing is it's pulling all the data in, and then it'll have me take a picture of the back of it, because in some states it is required to have a copy of the back of the driver's license. And in order to do that, I'm just going to get it in the frame and tap the photo. And if this worked like you wanted it to, you can just hit use in the upper right hand corner of the screen there, or you can hit retake and do it again. I'm just going to hit use, and then it's going to have me do the front of the driver's license. And this is just an example that I pulled from Google here in order to do this video. But I'm going to put it in the frame, take that photo. And if you'll notice, it's takes the photo and it moves it over here. This is to indicate that we captured the photo. So if we didn't capture the photo, this isn't going to carry over here. And then this actually won't be used inside of DealerSocket in place of the customer's initials on their record. Let's say that this looks good. So I'm going to hit use again. Now, if I pull my mobile app back up, you can see that we have the first name, the last name. Again, these are samples, so this is why it's all crazy like this. If it's a customer, it's a real driver's license, and you can test this out with your own driver's license. It would populate the customer's information there. Okay, moving on, I'm just going to go ahead and throw a phone number in here because I would still need that. I can't pull that from the driver's license. But you can see I did pull in the um, address for the customer. A great closing question with this is, when you are getting that driver's license scan, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, is this the address that you're planning on, registering the vehicle at? And if they respond, yes, you probably have a car deal. If they say, no, actually, it needs to be this, or we're putting it in a trust, or, whatever they respond with, you for sure have a car deal if they're already talking about that, right? Um, then again, if they come back and they say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, I'm not here to buy. You don't need to know that information." Yada yada yada. That's when you would want to get a turn and get a manager involved, right? So we're pulling all that information, and we'll show it in the desktop version when we pull this customer up. But we also have their birth date, driver's license number, all that's in here, and typically that does push over to the DMS when we push from DealerSocket to the DMS. Now, just like I'm putting in a fresh up on the mobile app regularly, I'm going to have to hit source and specify that it's a fresh up. And then I would come back to the top of the screen and hit save in the upper right hand side of the screen. Before I hit save, though, let's talk about kind of the etiquette of scanning a driver's license. Um, if you get the inkling that regardless of how you present the driver's license scanner and everything like that to a customer, they're just not going to be happy with it and be uncomfortable. No problem, take the driver's license, walk into the dealership like you're going to make a copy of it, throw it down on the desk, do a scan with your mobile app, and you're good. At that point, the customer's still happy. You didn't leave a copy of it somewhere that either you're either relying on someone else to shred it, or you're shredding it, or vice versa, that sort of a thing. And you're good to go. That being said, there's a word track that you can use if you feel that the customer is going to be okay with it. Um, where, let's say you've already gotten the keys, you're already looking at the vehicle, and the customer's ready to go on a test drive. You say, okay, Mr. Mrs. Customer, we can go on a test drive. I just need to get a copy of your driver's license. Now I can scan this on my mobile application here. It does not save your driver's license onto my phone. It just takes your data off of your driver's license so that we have a record of you test driving with us today. And we can get going right now. Or if you'd prefer, I can walk inside and make a copy of your driver's license if you're more comfortable with that. Great word track. You can use that. Customers will be fine. And honestly, if you have somebody that's tech savvy, they might get a kick out of this, right? If you show them like, hey, I just hit this button right here, and you can kind of show them like, hey, look, it's not on my phone, that sort of thing. Great. And you can kind of move forward. Your dealership may just, if they're not comfortable with that, they may just say, hey, just treat it like, you're coming inside to make a copy and just use the mobile app to make the copy. That's perfectly fine as well. But just understand the reason that we do this isn't to make it harder for people, it's to protect the dealership. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save. Now, when I hit save here, it's probably going to ask me if this is an existing customer, because I've used this phone number on this site before. So we'll hit save, and typically when I'm casting like this, it will run a little bit slower. So forgive me if this is taking just a little while. Here we go. Actually, no, it didn't ask me if it was a duplicate. One thing to note is if you do add a customer and they're already in the system, it will ask, hey, is this one of these customers? And if it is, it'll tell you straight up front, like, hey, all the information that you put in up to this point is going to be gone once you select one of these other customers. And if that's the case and it's one of those customers, that's fine. We can show you how to rescan that driver's license and attach it to an existing record here shortly. Okay, I'm just going to put this in as a demo and hit save. Okay. Now, if it's an existing customer, at this point, like I've got my opportunity in here. Okay. Let's let this save, and then I'm going to jump back to the home screen. Right now it's creating the opportunity. There we go. And you can see in the upper left-hand side of the screen, you have the customer's driver's license photo now instead of their initials, which is pretty cool. So if I come down here to the bottom left of the screen and I hit the home screen, and let's say that the customer's been to the dealership before. Now, one thing to note, and this is something that not a lot of people know, there's this VIN scan icon on the home screen. If you know the customer purchased the vehicle from the dealership, you can actually scan the VIN on that vehicle and pull up their customer record by utilizing that VIN scan tool. Not to be confused with the trade scanner. This is separate from that. But let's just say that myself, say Logan Street, has been to this dealership before. So we're going to search him, and then we're going to pull up Logan's record. Now, if I pull up an existing record, obviously I can come down and I can add a sales opportunity or use an existing sales opportunity. But if I click edit in the upper right-hand side of the screen, you'll now notice that under my initials, there's a scan license option. And if I hit that, it goes through that same process of scanning the driver's license and getting all of that info. And then I have a copy of the driver's license in the system. Okay. And then I can go ahead and work that car deal. So that in a nutshell is how the mobile driver's license scan works, how it functions, and a couple of tips on how to use it, right? Once again, the last thing we want is to make a customer uncomfortable. So if you ever get that inkling, take the driver's license inside and just do it away from the customer. No worries, we'll just keep moving forward. All right, so I'm going to close this out, and then I'm going to show you inside of DealerSocket how a manager can see whether or not a driver's license was scanned. If we come into sales and we go to the desk log, let this load up. Similar to how it showed in the mobile app where the initials would be on the desk log here, you can see that, well, first off, I need to go to the right site. Sorry about that. And let's pull up the desk log. I had to test this a couple times before hitting record on this video. So you can see that this customer is now here. You can see the customer's name, right, or their driver's license right there and their name. And that's kind of the check, right? If I see the picture here, I know there's a driver's license assigned. If I don't see the picture, we didn't get a driver's license scan. Okay. So if it's part of our policy to have driver's license scanned before we go on test drives, the salesperson either just made a physical copy of it, which we need to make sure that we handle properly, or they didn't do it. And we need to have another conversation about that. That being said, if I ever need to print out the copy of the driver's license, all I have to do is go to that customer's record or their sales opportunity. And right here where it says show details, I can just hit show details. And if you'll notice, it pulls over the driver's license number, it pulls over the date of birth, it pulls over whatever gender they have listed on their driver's license, and any other information that we can pull from the driver's license, it'll pull right there. And there's this little icon to the right. If I click on that, it shows the front and the back. And if I hit print, I can then print this out and have that for my deal jacket. Now, again, this digitizes all of it with the exception of having that printout that goes inside your deal jacket. But keep in mind, once it's inside your deal jacket, it will be locked in a finance office while that deal is being processed and the customer signing up, obviously, and it will be secure. Whereas if I just make a copy of it and it's sitting in the sales tower and we're not locking the sales tower when someone leaves, the dealership could be subject to fines from the FTC if found at fault there. So that is how the driver's license scanner works. The other thing that you could utilize this for is if you had a borrowed car agreement in your forms, it would carry over the driver's license number and so on and so forth. So let your CSM know if you have any questions about this. If you don't already have, or if you don't have the driver's license tool, and this is, kind of the driver's license scanner, and this is kind of the reason that you would want to go ahead and do that, reach out to your CSM. They can get you information on that. It's a fairly easy tool to set up, and we can go from there. Thank you for joining me today.